It's been a little while since I've done a caption contest video. If you're not familiar with what those are, I throw up a picture in my YouTube community tab and say, go at it, the best 10, or in this case, there'll be also a bonus. Best of these get to be in the video. And people write things, often quite witty or interesting or sometimes insightful. I picked this photo, which is one that I took a little while ago. You can't actually see this site in Milwaukee right now, but that is the Miller Lite sign, which is on top of a nearby building. And we had some super, super high winds, which tore off the old light sign that was pasted on top of this. And this is what was underneath. Quite a sight to see. So I took a picture of it and I wanted to see what people would have to say. So, predictably enough, a lot of people are familiar with the Miller lore, whether it's Light or the Miller company itself or the advertising. So here's the first one. It was Miller time once. That used to be a very popular slogan. It's Miller time. It's time to drink some beer, namely Miller, the champagne of beers, or some of its spin-offs like Light or Miller Genuine Draft. Here's another good one, Light as Air, using the spelling, of course, for the brand. And then here's another good one, Miller Lite, our sign advertises our flavor. So the sign is all tore up and in bad shape, and that, is being portrayed as the flavor. And they're not wrong, because Miller Lite is crappy beer. It was one of the early light beers. My mom and a lot of other people drank it in the 1980s, and you could be guaranteed that your kids were probably not going to get into it because it was so watered down and crappy as a beer. As a matter of fact, we drank Miller Genuine Draft when I was in high school. Here's another one. Great taste, less filling. The same can't be said for our sign. The sign, of course, doesn't have a taste, but I guess it's not less filling, meaning that it's more filling. That one doesn't quite make sense, but it is kind of a funny dig on this tattered up, torn up sign. Then we get another one. Not everyone finds the spirit in the sky. Some have to settle for the light. And this was kind of a landmark. It used to be lit up at night with spotlights, and now it's not looking quite so good in this picture. Spirit in the Sky, famous song. This is up in the sky as well. So those are the ones that played off of the Miller lore, we could say. And then we get a couple other ones that I have to say have to do with inebriation, with intoxication. So Adam Answer says, I switched to light beer so I could get shredded. Now that's a great one because the sign is shredded, but a lot of people do, in fact, drink light beer because, less calories, but same amount of alcohol. So, or at least more or less the same, you can get yourself blitzed without feeling quite so full. As a matter of fact, you really had to watch it in college parties, not so much with Miller Lite, but they would buy, even cheaper, crappier beers like Coors Light or Keystone Light or Busch Light. And, this stuff was so close to water, except of course with alcohol, that you could get yourself pretty drunk and be pretty hungover the next day. The next one, Decay of the Inebriator. Indeed, people drink Miller Lite, not really so much for the taste, but to get messed up, to get a buzz going on. And so we see this decayed sign, which was, what was underneath the previous sign. So for years and years, there was this nice, pretty light sign, and underneath it, it was all this rot and tatters. Now, this is a longer one, and I'm not going to read it with Zizek's mannerisms. You can just substitute the sniff sniff stuff in there for you. It says, for here you see the depreciated state of the Miller Lite sign, signaling not only the wasteland of ideology we inhabit, but the state of our being, as explained by Jacques Lacan, and so on and so on. So that's got the Zizek shtick, we could say, down pretty well. And, Zizek is all about commodities, ideology, that sort of thing. And I think Miller kind of fits that. Interestingly enough, Miller used to be a beer company based here in Milwaukee. It long ceased being so when they first got bought out by SAB, which was a South African firm, and they really haven't been, I mean, they employ people here in Milwaukee, but they haven't been a Milwaukee beer for decades. And that gets kind of concealed by the ideology of, commoditization and hometown, what would we call it, beer pretense. Here's two more. Picassos Consumerism. Why Picassos Consumerism? Well, because it does look potentially a little cubist, so that fits in. Unintentionally abstract art. Here's another good take on it. Is this art? Is this found art, you could say? It certainly was at one point in time commercial art, but the elements have not been good to it, at least in terms of that original design, but perhaps they have been good to it in terms of creating art. And now we come to the final one from my friend JB, who has a whole poem here, right? And it's a parody poem just as much as the Zizek thing was parody. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, a vast and lightless sign alone stands atop a tower. Near it, about the roof, cell towers erupt, announcing nothing. And the sign's proud boast of lightness tell that its marketer well that the brand did read, which yet survives, stamped on lifeless cans, the flavor that mocked all in the watery drink. And in the ads preserved in VHS, Miller Lite, less filling, tastes great, it's Miller time. Nothing besides remains round the decay of that faded scrofulous sign, peeling and bare the mute and hulking high-rises stretch far away. So what a little treat we have here in this poem. I wasn't quite expecting that, but I'll certainly take it and end on this. Now, if you want to get in on caption contest, check for pictures posted in the community tab on my YouTube channel. If you don't have your notifications, the little bell turned on, you probably want to do that so you stay on top of caption contests and anything else that's going on in my channel, and you can get in on the next one if you would like to.